I moved into my new apartment in West Philly, and on the very first day I met my neighbors who live across the hall, and they were super nice, and then never really saw them again until about 5 months later. And the guy informed me that he and his wife call me Invisible Girl because they never see me or hear me or anything. And so the next day I'd come home from work, and they had their door open, were sitting there smoking and invited me over to talk, and yelled out to Invisible Girl to come over. So we were sitting around talking, and they were super nice people, and were talking about TV shows that they watch, and asked me what I watch, and I was like, well, I don't have a TV, so I don't really watch anything. And they couldn't believe, like, they were beside themselves that I didn't have a TV. And so they were going on and on and on about how if I wanted a TV, they could get me one. They could do it no problem. And I just sort of shrugged and went home. And then the next day, he comes knocking on my door, tells me to come over, and is like, yeah, I got you a TV. It was free. And so now I have a TV that sits on my floor that I never watch. But it was still really nice of him.
Last year, like a week before my thesis project was due, I wrecked on my bicycle and broke my finger really badly and was on heavy doses of oxycodone and was incapable of completing my thesis exhibition, which had to be installed in a week. So a crew of my friends, who also were working on their thesis exhibitions, helped me out through it. Erin sewed my book for me. Sarah framed a bunch of my prints. Rebecca framed a bunch of my prints. Jesse installed my entire show for me. And I had dozens of other people offering their help. And I just walked around doped up on oxycodons and watched them all do my work for me. And it worked out great. And I'm very grateful to all of them.
The summers in between first and second year of grad school, I was living in my friend Erin's apartment until could find a place of my own. And so I'd gotten it, and I had gotten it with my roommate from first year, but she was away for the summer, so I was moving everything on my own. But I didn't have a car or any money to rent a car, and so I was moving stuff through a shopping cart about like 10 blocks on the wonky sidewalks of Philadelphia. And I'd been doing this all day, and the sun had set, so it was at night, but it was like my last load, and I just wanted to get everything over there and be in my own place. So I'm shoving the shopping cart down the sidewalk, and a car had like stopped into the crosswalk of the intersection, so I had to go around them and then push the cart up over the sidewalk rather than over the ramp. And as I'm trying to do this, everything fell out, including the bottle of wine, which I was planning on drinking once I finally got everything into my apartment. So I was pissed at the car because they were in my way, and everything fell out and broke and got wine all over my stuff, until the two girls who were in the car got out and asked if I was okay. And then they sort of looked at all of my stuff and were like, "Are you moving? Like, by yourself with this shopping cart?" And I sort of was like, well, yeah, kind of, but this is my last load. And so then they helped me pack everything up and gave me a ride the rest of the, like, 6 blocks back to my place. And were really nice about it.
Last year I was walking home in Philadelphia. I was sick at the time, feeling really kind of crappy, and as I was walking home, I came across a man sitting on the street drawing on the back of a piece of cardboard, and I, looked over his shoulder as he was drawing, and it was a drawing of a man and a woman kissing, and there was a teardrop falling from the woman's face onto the ground, in which a rose was growing from the water of the teardrop, and the words "true love" were written below it. And he noticed me. He noticed me standing next to him, and he turned to me and started talking. And then at that moment, I realized he was talking very loud, and he was deaf. And but he was really excited that someone was interested in his art, and he went on in explaining the message of true love and beauty and his drawing to me. And then he asked if he can draw my portrait. So I sat down with him on the street corner, put my bag down, and he drew a picture of me, and talking the whole time, constantly kind of yelling out the words, "It's hot, it's hot, it's hot, you're hot, baby, it's hot," while he was drawing. And he finished his drawing, and then I asked him if I can make a drawing of him. And when he found out that I was an artist, he got even more excited and was like, "I knew it, baby! I knew you were an artist. I could just see it in your eyes." And so I pulled out my pad and started drawing him while he went on and on yelling, "It's hot!" and telling me, at the same time, kind of telling me his story, that he was an art student at Rutgers, and had a stroke and wound up going deaf, and is now homeless, living in a shelter in Philadelphia. But he loves to create artwork, and he draws on the street. I sat for a while drawing him, and then he was explaining to me how when you're drawing a portrait, that the most important part of the portrait is the eyes, because the eyes are the key to the soul of a person. So he challenged me to an eye drawing competition. So we both got our cardboard out, and we're staring at each other's eyes as we drew each other's eyes. And he declared himself the winner of the eye drawing competition because I drew my eyelashes backwards. But it was okay. His eyes were definitely way better. But I spent about an hour sitting on the street corner drawing with Kevin, listening to his stories, and I totally forgotten that I was feeling terrible about like an hour earlier when I was walking home. And then he stood up and gave me a hug and told me that he loved me, and I never saw him again.